Now, right here I have the Realme C55, a new budget smartphone that you can already get for the cheap price of just 180 euros over here in Germany. And today we will check out what you will get for that price. But first up, what do we get inside the box? Now, the box is rather large, and the first thing that pops up is the package with the paper stuff, the SIM card remover, and a rather soft silicone case. Right below that we get to the smartphone itself. It's really amazing how this phone looks, with the two big cameras on the back and the shimmery design. As well as we have the charging cable with the standard USB-A to USB-C connection, a 33 watts charging brick, and we actually get a set of earphones with a 3.5mm headphone jack. I can't remember the last time I had one of those in the boxes, but that's pretty much it. So let's get to the designs and some of the specs. Now, this Realme C55 is really cool looking. Now, this one is called the sun shower design, and you see how the sun reflects on the backside, and you get all of those awesome colors, and overall you can say you have a very edgy smartphone. Now, this one has a big 6.72-inch LCD display with a resolution of 1080 by 2400 pixel. It has a glass front, a plastic frame, and a matte plastic back, if you can call it like this. It definitely feels and has the haptic of one. Now, on the back you will also find the 64 megapixel main camera and a 2 megapixel depth camera, and the selfie camera is a 8 megapixel camera. Actually pretty good for that price. Now, getting a little bit deeper into the display and the audio. Now, the 6.72-inch LCD display has a 90 Hz refresh rate that is set on auto select by default. If you want to have it on 90 Hz all the time, just change it over in the display settings. Right here you will also find an option for 60 Hz if you want to save a little bit of your battery life. The black bezels all around the phone are not that chunky, and not even the one on the bottom. The viewing angles also don't change that much. If you tilt your phone to the side, it only gets a little bit darker, but just a tiny snitch. Now, watching movies or just some video clips on Twitch and YouTube, that actually looks great. The full HD plus resolution plays a big part, but since we have no OLED display, I'm missing a little bit the contrast, but besides that, I mean, we're still talking about a budget smartphone. I mean, it's certainly good enough for some videos on the go. The sound of the C55 is okay. Now, the single speaker on the bottom is not that loud, and the quality of it is not the best. Now, therefore, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack, so you can instantly make use of the extra earphones that you got with the phone. But here goes a quick example on how this phone sounds like. Navigating up and down in your menus. Also, by long pressing the middle button, you will get straight to your menu. The upper right. So the Realme C55 supports a rather large 5000 mAh battery, which kind of got normals these days, but it's nice to see that we have one right here. Now, on average use, you get at least 1 full day of battery life, since this phone isn't that power consuming, since we have no 120 Hz display and no OLED screen. Now, when it comes to the charging speed, the 33 watts fast charging brick is doing a very decent job. From 0 to 50%, it takes about 30 minutes and 60 minutes to fully charge it. So actually kind of surprising coming from just a 33 watts charging brick. Now, the chipset of the C55 is the budget level MediaTek Helio G88. Now, the benchmark scores of this chip are not the worst, but they are also not great. Playing some normal games works alrightish, I would say. It can get laggy sometimes, and the screen brightness isn't the best as well, which is a bummer if you want to play your games out in the sun. Now, overall, there are definitely better budget smartphones out there when it comes to gaming, but the Realme C55 isn't the worst either. So, the Realme C55 is running on Realme UI 4.0 based on Android 13. Now, this phone is available in a few different sizes. Now, there is a 64, 128, and 256 gigs version of it, and all of them are expandable by an extra micro SD card. Now, you get a fingerprint sensor on the side that kind of works. Just putting your finger on it, on the sensor, is not enough to unlock the phone. You really got to push the button in order to unlock it. Now, you have a face detection as well, and I think this one works a lot better. You also have a few other little features like swiping down on the screen with 3 fingers to take a screenshot, or touch and hold for a partial screenshot, and then you can create your own form and size of the screenshot. Also, with 3 fingers you can open up the split screen mode, and you get floating windows as well on the C55. Now, there are not that many features on the Realme. The last one that's worth mentioning is the one-handed mode, since you have a rather large smartphone and you definitely have a good use for this one. The last part of today is the camera test. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we have a 64 megapixel main camera and a 2 megapixel depth camera. No ultra wide, unfortunately. The selfie camera is an 8 megapixel camera that can capture videos in 1080p with 30 frames per second. Now the main camera is a little bit better. With this one you can capture videos in 1080p and 60 frames. So here goes a quick example for both of them. Alright, so there we have the video test. Now as you may know, the Realme C55 can only record in 1080p with 60 frames per second if it comes to the main camera, but if you switch that around to the selfie camera, this one is only capable of doing 1080p with 30 frames per second. Of course you can always scale that down, but I don't know why would you do something like that. So that's how the main camera looks like. Now just as a quick comparison, now I'm using the selfie camera, and it really depends on if the sun is behind you or in front of you and you get a whole different picture. But I would say it's doing a fairly good job. Now the pictures that I took with the main camera actually came out super well. Now this one is still a €100 budget smartphone and there's really nothing to complain about the pictures. The colors are poppy and vivid, the portrait shots are very good as well. We got some nice background blur and you can even add a little face retouch. But that only works on a selfie camera. The 2x zoom on this phone looks good and even the 3x zoom doesn't look super grainy, but I would really stick to the 2x as a maximum. Now overall, not too many camera modes on the C55. You get a night mode, panorama and the portrait mode, and that's about it. Now guys, that's already it for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And I guess with that one being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace!